Hello, greetings, everyone. Welcome. I am back. I just wanted to pipe in. Actually, so the race is not looking good so far for Kamala Harris, even though they haven't called any of the major swing states. They called for Iowa, which a lot of folks might have threw into the ring as a swing state more recently, just because of that poll that happened by the Des Moines Register. Because they are a trusted pollster and they said that Kamala's up 3 points. It was like 47 to 43. But again, if you look into the details, look at, how the third party candidates were doing in that poll, and then how much the undecided vote took up on that. There was still enough undecided vote to where Trump, like I said earlier, that Trump would, the majority of undecided vote would go towards Trump. So that's why I did not call it for Kamala Harris. I called it for Donald Trump, and it ended up going in her column. But other than that, the rest of the states are still out, unless something just recently got called that I'm not aware of. But otherwise, yeah, we're still waiting on other votes. Stuff's coming in. But if you've been watching, watch NBC with Steve Cornassi, or if you watch John King on CNN, they're all up there with the board. They're, moving in county to county to show you how it's looking and swiveling back and forth between how Biden did 4 years ago compared to her. Kamala is generally not doing as good as Biden was doing there. So there's a little bit of a drop. It's not a huge drop to where it's 100% clear that she's lost the race, but it is a drop. And considering how close a lot of those states were, it's that it doesn't look good for her going so far. So if my predictions that I think that she's probably not going to win, I still lean on those that she's probably not going to end up winning this and pulling it out. Love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. But I just wanted to be honest with you guys, tell you exactly what it is, so you be prepared for that outcome. In part because I really do not plan on standing up too late tonight. I got to go to bed, need to get up early to go to work in the morning and all that good stuff. So, and it'll probably be a late night. Some of these states might be a little bit close or whatever, but I think at the end of the day, if you really want to sign, it's that blue wall that they've been talking about in terms of those states from the Rust Belt states. That's the Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. If any of those get called for Trump, I think you need to just wrap it up and just say that Kamala Harris is not going to win. But she really needs to win all three of those at the end of the day. Because I think that's her best chance out of all the swing states of winning those three. If she doesn't win all three of those, she wins maybe two out of three. Um, she still needs to pick up some more from some other states, but I think that those three were probably her better chances than some of the other states she could pull from. So that's my read of it. So if you want to use that as a sign to see how she's going forward, then go ahead and use that to be able to test the weather, and see how things are going for her. But at the way things look right now, Donald Trump's overperforming what he did 4 years ago, and Kamala Harris is underperforming what Joe Biden did 4 years ago. So all these states that were really close, super tight margins, less than 1%. You're seeing that a lot of these counties have she's doing underperforming by more than just a percent or so. So it's likely going to erase that Joe Biden lead that happened there. So that's where it's going now. Again, it's early on. It really depends on what votes outstanding and all that sort of stuff. You got to do a little bit of math and crunching and stuff, but usually you get a sense of that once you get about 2/3 of the state in and start getting higher and higher. You should be able to get a sense of the numbers looking somewhat close to what they should be in terms of overperforming and underperforming. But it's fairly consistent across the board from county to county, with a few exceptions to the rule. That So it looks like she's underperforming Joe Biden, and because of the race being so close last time, I lean towards it not her not winning. So don't be surprised if she doesn't pull out the victory out of this. How long it takes for them to get to the bottom of all the vote counting and all that stuff, who knows? However, I'm still gonna sleep good tonight. I'm gonna get my rest in. I'm not gonna stay up all night. Hope some of you guys are able to get some good sleep in. Don't sweat too hard over the election and everything. The world must continue to go on. The show keeps on rolling. So um, this is the result. America chose Donald Trump. And once he gets into office, I don't think they're going to be able to, follow through with all the prosecutions and stuff like that. Even though he's already been convicted of one felony, and they get a sentence to him, if it actually ends up in jail time or something like that, I don't even think he'll end up serving that. So it is what it is. America chose that, this is the direction that we want to go, it looks like. So that's my prediction on it all. Again, it's not official yet. The states haven't been called, but that's where it's leaning towards, where the momentum's going. So I don't want to mislead anybody and make anybody think that uh, I don't want to give any pipe dreams of like, well, she might be able to pull some stuff off here and there. I mean, there's chances. There's always a chance. Anything can happen, right? But right now, the momentum is not looking to be on where it needs to be at. And so, and there's a lot of folks that might look back at it and be like, okay, well, she took over the race for Joe Biden. Hey, was that a good decision? Was that a bad move for her to do that? I still think that was a good move. For her to take over Joe Biden, because she's performing way better than Joe Biden would have. Joe Biden was underperforming by a whole lot less. His polls were doing terrible, and there was no vision for how he can actually pull it up. His speeches weren't very inspiring, and all this other stuff. There was no real way you could see how he could close that gap somehow. And then seeing how he performed in that debate, and having another one coming up later on, it just didn't look pretty for him. So Kamala Harris gave a chance. It gave some hope. And had the election been, in August or something like that, or September, she probably would have won it. But again, that's just like saying if the basketball game ended at halftime, we would have won, right? There's ups and downs, and there's a flow to this thing. And I think that one thing that was critical to helping Donald Trump perform well tonight is that 4 years ago, they decided that they won't be a part of the presidential debate commission anymore, who's been in charge of running all debates and stuff. So they decided to drop that, and so now we're at this point where uh, you know you don't even know if there's going to be a presidential debate every year. If they're in good faith, they might be able to commit to one like they did this year. Well, we had two because of Biden did one, but he really only he only did one with Kamala Harris. So after that, and that didn't go good, it seemed pretty clear that he wasn't going to end up agreeing to another one. There's a lot of trash talking and all this sort of stuff, or saying that I'm open to it, but at the end of the day, it was pretty clear that he didn't want to have no more of that, basically, because he didn't look good in debate next to her. The contrast there didn't show up well, and so she performed well, and she was leading pretty good. And had the election been right after that, she would have won, right? But as time goes on and people forget about those different things, things settle on. But if the presidential debate commission was still in charge, and we had three different debates going on, leading into halfway towards the end of October, uh, that would have had an influence going into the election, and that might have made a difference. But the fact that now it's just going to be a matter of whether or not people feel like they want to be able to show up to a debate, or whether it helps them or not. That's what it's going to come down to now that the folks don't agree to it. I think it's an unfortunate turn of events in that regard, that we might not be able to get people to actually speak their platform, defend their positions and all that, and debate it for the American people. Not that it's necessarily the best, I don't know, venue for being able to have those conversations. Having just like 1 minute or 2 minutes to basically talk about your whole plan, you really don't get to go into depth very well. And it's really a whole bunch of sound bites at the end of the day too. But at least you can hold people's feet to the fire and get them to answer a few square questions that they never try to address while they're on the stump out there giving their speeches and stuff. So for example, even in the vice presidential debate uh, uh, where JD Vance was asked about his whether or not Trump had won the election or whatever, and was able to hold his feet to a fire there and say, "Wow, that's a stunning silence," or whatever he said. That, or refusal to answer the question, right? Those moments will never, sometimes people dodge stuff, and I don't think the American people realize that they're dodging it too much until somebody highlights the fact that they are. And at the end of them swirling around and saying a whole bunch of stuff to make it seem like they answered a question, but they really didn't, that somebody says, yeah, the question was about blah, 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 you know. And those are important things I think that can be useful that can come out of those debates that just highlight the fact that, hey, they're dodging around this for a reason. It's not just, because they have a weird, odd position that they don't want you to know about, type of thing. So, but it is what it is. So we are heading into Trumpville Part Two, and I that's my projection on things. Again, the night's young; it's still not over yet. But if that those Rust Belt states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, she doesn't win all those, most likely if Trump is able to chip away at least one, especially two of those, it's definitely over. From my perspective. So I'm waking up in the morning expecting to, check my phone and look at it and be like, oh, yeah, Trump's the president. That's my type of thing. There may be a few states that might not be called yet because they are close. There's always something that's close, but I think that for the most part, we probably would have a good idea that, somebody's ahead at the end of all this. So with that said, I'm going to get some Z's. I'm going to sleep well. Hope you do too. All right. Y'all be good to each other. And take it one day at a time. This is what the next 4 years is going to look like. So be ready for it. Till next time. Peace out.